Ramit Tandon, who is a professional squash player. So, Ramit, why don't you walk us through your career, what you've done so far?
So, so I graduated school in 2011. So I'm from Calcutta. I'm born and brought up in Calcutta. So I spent my primary school days in Calcutta. And then I moved to Chennai for squash, where I completed my education, my schooling in Chennai. And then I went to New York for my undergrad. So I graduated with a degree in statistics from Columbia University in New York. And then, so I graduated from college in 2015. And then 2015 to 2018, I actually worked for 3 years in finance in New York. And post that, I actually started playing squash professionally and representing India. And yeah, so my career path has been a little crooked, if you could say that. But yeah, so right now I play professionally, represent India, represented India in the Asian Games, Commonwealth Games, and yeah, hopefully post this COVID scenario, I'll be back at it.
Hmm. So, what was your main motivation to pursue squash instead of finance?
The biggest motivation was so see when I graduated college, I had not actually worked. Squash, they have tournaments, junior squash events, and you play for the college. But I never had that experience to actually work like 10, 8, 12 hours a day. And I really wanted to experience that to kind of understand what I enjoy doing more because I mean, I love playing squash, but I couldn't compare it to what working in the real world would feel like. So having
Hmm.
had that experience for 3 years, I kind of started realizing that this I could do even when I'm 40 or 50, right? It's something you can go back to with an education and some work experience. But squash or sport is such a thing that you do it now or you never do it. And I
Yeah.
think that started to hit me. Also, the lifestyle, I think, when you're working, it's the same thing day after day, right? So I was going to the office every day, working on the same things every day, meeting the same people every day. So the first year, you learn a lot, and it's an amazing experience. The second year, you still kind of enjoy it. By the time you hit the third year, it kind of gets a little boring because you're just doing the same things. The learning curve is not as steep. And I started hitting that phase. And then I started appreciating the life of an athlete where you're traveling the world, you're making friends, you're doing what you love, and most importantly, you are your own boss. You don't have someone telling you do this or get this done by 5 p.m. today. You don't have those kind of deadlines. There is a different kind of pressure to being an athlete, but you have your freedom, and most importantly, you cannot do it later on in life. You got to do it early, and then you can move on to other things. So that kind of was the main reason why I felt like I wanted to jump back into squash. But of course, I love the game, and it's been a huge part of my life. I've been playing since I was 6 years old, so that's another.
Hmm. All right. How do you use technology as a professional squash player, and how do you think technology will influence the sport for years to come?
I mean, I think technology is not only going to influence the sport, it's going to influence the world. So back when I was in finance, we were already looking at companies that are investing in technology because we feel those companies are going to dominate the future. In sport, you already see. I think yesterday, Indian Squash announced that they are coming up with a new
App.
app, and
Yes.
World Squash and PSA that kind of controls World Squash. They
Yeah.
have already launched apps. I think digitalization and technology is the way forward. It's going to make things much more convenient. It's easier for data collection, and it's kind of going to save companies, especially now with the stress the economy is going to go through. If you have technology, it's going to save you hiring people. So it saves you on salary. So I think in terms of ease, everyone knows how important technology is in terms of making things easy. So of course it saves time, but I also think like with the way things are moving forward, it's also cost cutting in a way. So I feel technology is going to play a big part in our sport in terms of just day to day, like from a federation point of view, when it comes to rankings and stuff like that. From a player point of view, in terms of organization, if I have everything on an app, I don't really have to like go to websites and figure things out. It's all on my phone. And in terms of like technology in the sense from the refereeing point of view, if your watch squash is a very fast sport, right? So as technology develops, we'll have like better cameras to kind of catch different angles. So even it'll help the referees. So we have like review system where you can replay the certain point to kind of
Yeah.
make the decision. So I think it'll also help the game from that perspective.
More
So I think
accurate.
overall, it's like multi-dimensional, right? In many different ways, I feel technology is going to kind of improve our sport and the world in general. And look at the
Okay.
space as well, right? Look at what we are doing now. It's
Hmm.
all because of technology, right?
Yeah, that's true. So, what skill should someone have to be a successful squash player?
uh, I think hard work, of course, discipline, mental strength is an important one. Apart from that, I guess you got to be a little lucky.
Hmm.
And I feel, of course, you need the skills. Like, I mean, different players have different skill sets. Like, some players are more skillful in terms of their racket ability, and some players are the ones who don't have the racket ability kind of have the physical ability. But I feel everyone has a certain skill that you can use to be good at something. So I think as a player, you kind of have to discover what works best for you, and then kind of work on your weaknesses to improve those and master your biggest strength. And I feel like there's no specific strength in the sport. You know, the basic things everyone is going to tell you is you got to be motivated, you got to be willing to put in the work. That everyone has heard that before, but
Yeah.
I think it comes down to you yourself analyzing what is your skill and how you can use that in squash, and then what is your weakness and how you can improve that. I think it comes down to that.
Okay. So, what guidance do you have for those who are looking to pursue a professional squash career? Yeah.
Uh, what guidance? I think a big part would be kind of, if you know, like for me, the biggest problem was, well, not a problem. Like I just didn't know what I wanted to do, whether I wanted to work or play. So I feel like if you know that early enough, if you're able to make a decision, like you're in class 9, as you said, now that I want to play professional squash, then you kind of got to base your life decisions around that. You know what I mean? Then maybe when you go to college, you can pick a college where you can actually, which is more sports oriented than academically oriented. So I think the first point I would like to make is early discovery is kind of an advantage. If you
Hmm.
don't, then you got to do something like I did, kind of balance education and sport. But if you know early, you can just put all your focus into sport. So I would say, like, kind of figure out what you want to do, and then once you know what you want to do, and you're willing to take that risk, you got to be committed 100%. You know, then your decisions have to revolve around what you want to do. Then there's no second thought of, oh, maybe I should do this. If something benefits your squash, you should do that. So I would say, like, figuring it out early and then committing to it are the two biggest factors that could help you be successful at that sport.
Okay. So, thank you, Ramit. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Johan. Good luck with the project.